Welcome back to the channel for another tool review. This one's going to be a little bit unusual. A little bit of backstory. When I began my Dell 3880 upgrade series, linked above and below in the description, I said I was going to challenge myself to do everything in that series with just this toolkit. And this thing is the same PC tools kit that I've had for like 25 years, probably coming up close to 30 years. And it was an inexpensive kit, and I found a very similar one to it on Amazon and recommended it to people and said, hey, if you don't have anything, here's a way to get started. The reason I did that is because I have a whole garage full of tools, not just a garage, a basement, and other locations, and all kinds of crap. Like there are 5 toolboxes here that are pretty much all full up now. But a lot of these videos tend to be consumed by people that are just getting started. So if I say something's easy to do in X, Y, and Z, and I'm able to do it with my full capabilities, that may not be the most honest thing to tell you because you don't have all this crap. Now, in a lot of cases, it's not going to be a big deal. It's just going to be a screwdriver or something, but I don't know. We'll see what happens as the series progresses. So the whole reason I did that was just as a mechanism to kind of keep me honest with you guys. And I can keep myself honest by just working out of these tools. Plus, I really do like the little organizer, and I have used the hell out of this kit. Well, one of my subs brought up the point that these are not very high quality tools. And yeah, they're not very high quality tools. Although I've had reasonable success with these, I have no idea what the new stuff is like. So the kit in the link that I suggested may not be the same grade of tools. And ultimately, I agreed with that subscriber. So I bought another kit. I bought the kit that I linked. So the plan here is that from this point forward, I'm going to do everything with the 3880 out of this kit. And then as part of probably a 1,000 subscriber giveaway, I'm going to give this thing away when I'm done, unless it's junk. Moving on to the matter at hand for today, let's get this thing opened up and just take our initial look at it. If I can get it out of the sleeve without damaging the sleeve, I'd like to. Looks like a few things have become disheveled from their places. New kit, old kit. And oops, I frequently run into like a time paradox issue where I know I've said something in another video, but that doesn't necessarily mean the viewer of this video has seen that video, and I forget that. So let's review what you're actually getting in this kit before we go any further. First of all, it is a kit, so it stays nicely together. I always like that. I can just grab this thing and head off to whatever I want to do. You're getting a 1/4 inch nut driver, a 3/16 nut driver, a little grabby tool guy. So if you like drop a screw down in a crevice, you can pluck it out of there with that. I love these things. A moderately competent pair of tweezers, sort of the same idea. You can reach in and grab things, or occasionally maybe you can move a jumper around to do that sort of thing. The odds of most of you running into a jumper these days is pretty rare. Almost the same can be said for the need of these guys too. 3/16 was always like parallel ports and serial ports. So grabbing the world's oldest Toshiba laptop here to demonstrate would be for tightening those guys into like slot covers on the back of a PC. So if you're into vintage stuff, these are handy to have. 1/4 inch is a little bit more universally useful today. So a fair number of times these Phillips head screws on the back of computers will also be 1/4 inch hex on the outside, so sometimes it's just nice to be able to use one of these on those. I find it to be a little bit quicker, or if one's real tight, these are handy. Then we have a bit driver that has a double-ended Torx bit in it. I don't find Torx to be useful all that often, but it does come up. And if anything else, once you have a bit driver, then you can buy any bits you want. This guy here happens to be a security bit kit, so there are all sorts of different kinds of bits and things in there. So if you wanted to, you could take this bit driver and plug any one of those bits into it, and you're off to the races. So that is handy. And then one of my favorite parts is it comes with a little storage compartment for all of your screws and things as you're going along so you don't lose them. That was real handy when I was a youngster and working on stuff like on the floor, on the carpet, on my bed and stuff like that. These are dedicated jumper pulling pliers. Again, jumpers are probably going to be kind of a rarity for most of you guys these days, but you never know, and these can be very handy. So as an example, I have a prehistoric hard drive here where you actually have to manually set jumpers to tell it what to do. You can use these pliers, depending on the configuration of what you're doing, to grab onto those jumpers and pull them out. These are partially shrouded because it's a hard drive, so they're not wanting to get in there real well, but I can probably get one side in. Yeah, I got one side in and got it started. So again, not a super huge need for these most days, but you'll have them if you need them, which is always cool. Then last but not least, you have 4 different screwdrivers: small straight blade, big straight blade, small Phillips, big Phillips. Big Phillips is far and away the one I've used the most. See a couple things that are different right away. Like this appears to actually be a nut driver. So the bit comes out and you get 2 different bit size Torx, which my old kit was not like that. And this is also magnetic. That could be good, that could be bad. Personally, I don't like using magnetic tools on PCs, but plenty of other people do, so it's not an issue. These are not magnetic, but All in all, feel good. Frankly, these feel better than the old ones. Just the handle grip feels nicer. Got our jumper pullers. We'll see if they're all bent out of shape or if they line up. Actually, looks like they line up pretty well. These are really stiff. These are actually much stiffer than my old ones. I would say that's a good thing. All in all, at a glance, I would say I have no strong preference for this kit versus my old one, except that's kind of handy. So instead of just having the regular dedicated Torx, they gave you this double-ended bit. Initial observations concluded. Time to put this guy to work, and we'll catch up when all the work's done. So it has been about 6 months since I recorded that last segment, and the work is not at all done. And the problem is you guys have radically exceeded my expectations on subscriber count. I am now more than 300 subscribers past the 1,000 sub giveaway point, so I gotta get this show on the road and get you guys involved. Because I've always said on the channel that I would like to try and do something to celebrate what I'm calling on the zeros. So I tried at 100 subscribers to give something away. That just didn't really work out all that well because there wasn't anybody to enter a giveaway. For 1,000, we're going to do this guy. And then we'll do 10,000, 100,000, million, whatever. And maybe, you know, things scattered in between. And of course the goal is that as time marches on, the giveaways will get greater and greater, or larger and larger. This kit still has work to do. I'm only about 2/3 of the way through the 3880 series with it, but I like it. And I've actually come to the conclusion that I like it more than my original kit. That's not to say either one is really all that much better or worse than the other. Really what it comes down to, and I will use regular number 2 size Phillips screwdriver here as an example, because this is the one I've used the most. These tools are noticeably heavier, and that's not to say that it's inherently better because it's heavier, but that just makes for a better feeling tool. And I can infer from the balance point that most of that weight is back here in this plastic. I think this is some sort of like an acrylic or something like that, and this is a much less expensive plastic or much less expensive process. Just to make sure I'm not a crazy person, or rather, I should say, I guarantee you I'm a crazy person, but to make sure that I'm not just imagining things. My old guy there weighs 1.34 ounces. 1.38. I am imagining things. Must just be a balance thing then, maybe? I don't know. But overall, I just prefer the feel of this one. The handles are a little bit different sizes. Maybe that's what's got my mind playing tricks on me. I don't know. But I like this toolkit just fine, especially for what it costs. I have noticed that a couple of you out there have already bought them. I haven't seen anybody return them. So everybody else must feel about the same way. So if you have nothing and you want to just get started working on PC things, this is still a good place to start. I think these kits are still under $20, and I certainly haven't regretted having use of my old one for the last 30 years. So I doubt anybody would regret having use of this one. It's worth mentioning this particular Phillips is the one I've used the most, and you can see there's basically no wear on it. And I have used this on a handful of things other than 3880. I've tried to grab this kit whenever I needed to do miscellaneous stuff, and it's holding up just fine. But at the end of the day, these are inexpensive tools, and they probably won't last forever if you're an animal with them, and so on and so forth. Primarily what this kit has done is it has done what I wanted it to, and it's kept me honest with working on things, because I've only needed the stuff that's in this kit. Now then, let's get on to how we're going to go about giving this guy away. For the last several months now, we have had an actual mailing address, which I will leave down in the description of the video for you. And for all you voyeurs, it's just a UPS store. In fact, it's this exact UPS store. And what I think I would like people to do is just send me a postcard or a letter or something, or you send me anything you want except your bills, I ain't paying them, to the P.O. Box with your name and your email address. And once I have amassed a collection of those that I feel is fair, I'll put them all in a bucket and draw one out. Oh, and also write down for what giveaway you are signing up for. If you were to send me a postcard for this guy, it would be your name, your email address, and PC Toolkit. And I'm doing it this way for a few reasons. One, people just leave comments in videos and forget about them and never come back to them or whatever. And video comments can go on for years and years. So even if I like pinned a comment at the top and said, hey, contest is over, 5 years from now, somebody won't even read that and they'll say, hey, I want to enter the toolkit giveaway. So by keeping it in the physical world, I think most people are less likely to forget, hey, I sent that guy a letter, and it'll just keep things more finite. Another reason is I just think it'll be cool to have like a physical scrapbook kind of thing from a digital thing. So if you send me a letter or a postcard or whatever, I'll eventually have like a folder I can flip through with that stuff in it, and I think that'll just be neat. And I'm sure as time marches on, there's going to be opportunities for other random giveaway things that I never saw coming. Like people approach me all the time to do a review of a specific tool or specific product or whatever, and I'm going to end up with a pile of that stuff when I'm done with it eventually. It'll be cool to just have a grab bag of people that have maybe signed up for the smaller giveaways or whatever, and maybe I'll just reach into that and choose a person out and send them an email and say, hey, I drew your name for this thing, do you want it? So it'll be cool to have a backlog of things like that. It'll be cool for me to have kind of a collectible from the time I'm spending making these digital things. And to be overly dramatic about it, I think this method will also keep, the riffraff out, that you actually have to go through a very, very small amount of effort to actually get in the contest. So you're more likely to actually respond if you win, and so on and so forth. When we eventually get into like giving computers away and stuff like that, which at that point we will be over on the Broken Tech channel full time for content relating to computers. I am probably going to have to consult an attorney first and make sure we're not doing anything that would constitute gambling or anything like that. I may actually try and raise the bar with some of that stuff and maybe require like a charitable contribution to some society or something like that. We'll have to see. But for small things, I think this is the way we're going to do it. Address is down in the description. This is a perfectly adequate toolkit. It is an admirable replacement for my original guy. I see no issues at all continuing to suggest this to people. And when I get done with it, and I'm shooting for around Christmas time, I hope to have enough entries in the giveaway to just draw one out of a hat and get this thing mailed off, we'll say early 2022. And something else I learned from that 100 subscriber giveaway that I attempted also is I have to put a time limit on this. So all entries for this thing, we're going to say December 31st, 2021. So after that, no longer applicable. I'm going to draw a name. If there's only one name, one person gets it. If there's nobody, I will probably throw this like in a bin off to the side of stuff to give away later on in one of those random grab bags. So hopefully you guys think that sounds like fun. I think it's cool. I've never gotten anything for free from anybody on YouTube. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let people know that I'm doing this kind of thing. As always, I appreciate you stopping in for this video. We'll catch you on the next one. I'm Max, that's Saddington Bear, and we make videos like this all the time. Here are a couple links to some other videos we've made, and we really appreciate you guys stopping in.